It's such a great opportunity to host this webinar here at the Sonoma County Office of Education, where we're dedicated to raising awareness about one of the most exciting student programs that I've ever been a part of. This program is the No One Eats Alone initiative, which fosters empathy and kindness in our students, something that is so desperately needed in our schools. My name is Dr. Amie Carter. I'm the Sonoma County Superintendent of Schools. I work with 40 school districts here, serving close to 70,000 students. And one of the most pressing issues that I hear from my local educators, especially post-pandemic, is concern around age-appropriate social behavior and concerns related to mental health and wellness in our young people. In the faces of these challenges, I think it's more important than ever for our schools to seek out educational initiatives that foster empathy and build connections. The No One Eats Alone initiative is one that does exactly that. It is a classroom and lunchroom program created by Beyond Differences to help end social isolation and build a culture of belonging by encouraging students to eat with classmates that they don't know and get to know them with Beyond Differences provided activities. No One Eats Alone started in a handful of middle schools here in Northern California in 2012, and it's grown yearly. And now more than 1 million students, over 2,500 schools, and in 50 states participate in this program each year. The National No One Eats Alone Day is coming up on February 16th, 2024, but it can be celebrated any day that might work for your school. No One Eats Alone program has been listed as a top program recommendation by the U.S. Surgeon General's office to create those social connections that we need so desperately in schools. As a site principal, my own students participated in the No One Eats Alone program, and I found that its best quality is the way that it was able to get middle school age students out of that kind of clique mindset and have them engage with peers that they might not otherwise talk to, and improving their overall social skills. On my campus, there was a young student who utilized a wheelchair to get around and to come and go from the cafeteria. And because the No One Eats Alone program was able to kind of lead his fellow students to come to the realization that because of these needs, he was often delayed in joining his other students out on the blacktop in the field for recess. And so the classmates then took ownership over the problem, and they created a schedule to ensure that another student or group of students stayed behind in that cafeteria with him until after he finished his lunch, and then escorted him to the field. And I really believe that without a program like No One Eats Alone, this moment of social isolation would have gone unnoticed by the other students. And I know that the course of all those students' lives was altered because of the important life lessons they learned through this program. I'm the mother of a daughter whose social anxiety was so crippling that she spent her high school years eating the lunch in the school bathroom. And I'm so grateful that a program like this to exist to impact young people's perception of themselves and their peers and start melting down that isolation that so many of our young people can experience and open up new opportunities for young people to fit in new ways. I am so thrilled, beyond thrilled, that one of California's best champions for youth is joining me in raising awareness of this project. Superintendent Tony Thurmond and the California Department of Education are responsible for the largest public school system in the nation, with nearly 6 million students and more than 10,000 schools. As a former school board member, Superintendent Thurmond took office in 2019, and I have watched as he has championed efforts to close the achievement gap, improve equity, and support student mental health here in education. His accomplishments include writing and sponsoring legislation that led to $184 million in additional state funding for teachers and school counselor residency programs to support our students' mental health. His past work as a social worker is clearly reflected in the priorities he brings to this office and the way he leads us here in California. And so it's not surprising that he's here with us today. So Tony, I'll turn it over to you to share your perspective on youth mental health and the No One Eats Alone project.
Thank you, Superintendent, for hosting today, for the wonderful introduction. I have to say, I think you said it all. And so, I will keep my remarks brief, but I would very much like to identify and associate my thoughts with the comments that you made. I want to thank everyone at Beyond Differences for the incredible work that you all do to help address and meet the social emotional needs of all of our students, and for creating No One Eats Alone Day. And I hope that all of you who are following today will participate in No One Eats Alone Day when it comes up on February 16th. And as the superintendent said, did we lose Tony? Give it a second. It's very important for us to help our young people build out relationships so that no one eats alone. My heart breaks when I hear stories like the one that Superintendent Carter just shared about her daughter eating her lunch in the bathroom, but we know that that happens on a regular basis. And anything that we can do to facilitate better relationships and students who have empathy for each other and who support each other goes a long way to having success. And so it's an important time for us to think about social isolation. We know that many of our students were isolated during the pandemic, and we're not built for isolation. We're built to connect and be in connection. And so this is a very important program that can have incredible results. And I want to thank Beyond Differences and others who helped us to create a social isolation grant to counter social isolation of our students coming out of the pandemic. There's so many programs that are available, and we want our students to know that they are supported. I also want to just mention that we are working to recruit more mental health clinicians who can work in our schools. And we've sponsored legislation that will allow us to provide a scholarship to anyone who wants to become a mental health clinician and commit to at least 2 years in one of our schools. And the way to do that is really easy. And it means that you can get a $20,000 scholarship if you are going to work in our schools. And there's a way that if there's an undergraduate student, we can help them to get a $10,000 scholarship. Just send us a note and we'll help you to get those resources at teachandca@cde.gov. And so we want to help you get that opportunity to have more counselors, but the No One Eats Alone program is one that I'm just so impressed and inspired by the work that's happening there. We know that during the pandemic, the number of students who have depression, anxiety, and other challenges around behavioral health has increased. And so these are important programs for us to support our students. And, as we speak about students, I'm grateful to have met with the National Team Board of Beyond Differences earlier this year, and to have heard the great ideas that our young people have to help us help other young people. There are great peer support programs in this country. The Team Board is doing great things. And I'd like to turn it over now to a great leader, a great partner and friend, none other than National Team Board member, Sophie Grasser, who will take it from here. Welcome, Sophie.
Hi, thank you. So this year for No One Eats Alone, our theme is Let's Grow Connections. And wait, it's okay. Sorry. Our theme is obviously, as you see, Let's Grow, planning new connections. It is in order to encourage students to grow out of their comfort zone and connect with other students. We're doing this through an art project. And we designed, like me and my fellow team board members, a collaborative mural. And by signing up for No One Eats Alone, each school will receive a belonging box filled with supplies like paper clouds, flowers, and leaves with prompts attached. The flower prompt is a way to show gratitude. The cloud shows how important it is to acknowledge how something can be difficult, yet still allow you to change and grow. And then the leaves are a way for you to show something that you're hopeful for in the future. Personally, my hopes for the impact of this project are for students to have a low risk yet meaningful outlet to express their feelings. And this project allows for students to connect to each other while still remaining anonymous. Seeing similar responses and experiences to their own will allow students to feel and foster a sense of connection and make them feel less socially isolated. Now, I would like to introduce Michelle Campbell-Mateo, an educator and coach at Presidio Middle School in San Francisco, who serves on Beyond Differences Educator Review Panel to share her experiences running No Needs Alone.
Hi, everyone. How are you? Oh, that's me. Look, that's me at my school, my current school. Really happy to be here. I did No One Needs Alone for about 5 years at a previous school that I was at, basically 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, and then the pandemic joined us. So we had a lot of success doing it. We had buy-in. We had a point person, administrator that was willing to kind of take on some of the heavier lifting and help with the educational piece or the instructional piece in the classrooms. And what my gift, what my contribution was, is that we were blessed to have student leadership programs. We had RJ peer mediators, restorative practice peer mediators. And each year the group size grew. So I think by the time I was leaving that school, there were over 125 peer mediators. And then there were also student council students, and there were affinity groups. So that's basically, those are some of the students that we leveraged to kind of help get the word out and do the invites. We were very conscientious to make sure that we put the word out to every single class and have every single class represented by a student. And that went across the board. And we made sure to pay attention to our special needs classes, because we had about 5 different classes and different levels of participation. And that is pretty much what we did. We did promotions, we did posters, we went to homerooms, we made announcements. Students got to sign up for the classes that they wanted to kind of go and connect with, that they had relationships with teachers or they had friends in the classes. So we really played to our strengths. And it took a while, but each year it was an all school event. And each year got a little bit more and more involved, meaning there were more classes that were participating in the lessons that were happening in the classroom. But the culminating event was definitely the big blowout at lunchtime. And so I would just say, even if you had to start it small and you had to scale it back, there's always somebody that supports the work that you do. Those are the people that you connect with first. Who are your warm demanders on campus? Who runs SEL type work on your campus? What students gravitate towards you? What students do you see that might be sitting alone, eating alone, that might want this opportunity? And so we kind of did things like that. That, kind of put a small committee together and got a commitment from like a specific number of students. We've also worked with our after school programming, which was a huge, huge assist as well, because they were also there at lunchtime. So that expanded our reach, because this school had over 800 students, almost 900 students. So I feel confident that based on that experience, now, these years later, 5 years later, I'm at this new school, but I've been here for 4 years, and I'm making the same connections here. There are peer leaders here. There isn't a student council, but there is like a GSA. There are some affinity spaces. We've got a cost, like our mental health therapists, our counselors, our social workers that meet regularly, that have students in mind. It's just become a bit of a bridge to bring all of these folks together that are serving our students in different pockets of the school together to come and literally, like, let's just come and have lunch together this day. And we're going to have a bunch of different activities that make the day memorable. And, and little challenges like, learn 3 names, connect with 3 different people that you don't know, planting little seeds that will be able to grow with this effort is kind of really what we focused on. And I think the last thing I would say is that I've been fortunate to partner with a teacher that does the training for our peer resource students. So we've decided that they're going to be leading the process. We're going to have a 7th grade class that's going to kind of take the lead. And then we're going to work with some of the other groups to just help make sure that we can host the entire school for 50-minute lunch period on this on February 16th. So we're really looking forward to it.
Thank you so much, Michelle, for
welcome.
sharing that sort of firsthand account of how this program has worked for you. We in education know that if you solve for school campus culture, that you have now solved for so many of the other sort of pain points in education. You not only have sort of addressed issues of behavior by building a strong school culture, but also research shows that that improves academics. So this kind of work just pays off in dividends in so many different ways, and appreciate educators like you that are out there doing this work. If you're curious now about how to get involved in this program, I'm excited to turn the time over to our Director of National Programs, Alyssa Ching, to really share more about how you can bring this program to your school. Alyssa.
Thank you again, Superintendent Carter and the California State Superintendent, for hosting this event and bringing No One Eats Alone to as many programs and schools in California. I also want to say thank you to Sophie for her contributions to the project, and Michelle for her insight into how you can realistically do this at your campus. So following this webinar, you will receive an email with the recording, so you can get the information that you need to communicate back. We will also give you messaging that your district offices can share with your educators on how to sign up. Thanks to Dr. Carter's efforts, if you are a county superintendent, a belonging box that Sophie mentioned has actually already been mailed to you, so you can get a preview of what that project looks like. If you are school admin already and want to sign up, I'm going to actually share the link in the chat, as well as a link to our No One Eats Alone page, so you can learn more. There will also be follow-up information in that communication about some workshops we have coming up next Thursday, January 25th, so you can meet the other program directors and some of our other national team board members on how to run a successful No One Eats Alone Day this February 16th. I want to thank everyone again for attending, and I hope that we bring as many schools, the program to as many California schools as possible this year. Thank you so much.